And so I predict 335. In my head, I'm thinking, that'll be easy. I'm going to give a low estimation so that I know I can get that much. And in the end, well, let's see just how easy it was. Coach Greg, and in today's video, we're going to find out just how strong I really am. Used to be a world champion powerlifter, record holder in the bench press, Guinness record in the deadlift. But that was a long time ago, close to 5 years since I've been training like that. And so wanted to find out how much strength have I lost over the years. At the time was abusing PEDs, taking anything and everything. But today, only on doctor-prescribed HRT, 140 milligrams a week. Also doing a lot of cardio, racing bikes, and lost somewhere between 15 and 20 pounds of muscle. Also 46 years of age, father time knocking at the door. And so how much strength have I lost? Well, decided to do a video with Will Tennyson doing our 1-rep maxes in the big three. The squat, the bench, and the deadlift. And I really had no idea how much I could actually lift. And so what a great opportunity to see just how much strength have I lost.
When's the last time you 1-rep maxed anything?
4 years ago.
4 years ago?
Yeah. And so it's been about 4 years since I've done a 1-rep max and also changed significantly how I train. Used to do squats, bench, deadlift all the time. And to this day, I still train all those muscles, but not specifically in those lifts. I don't squat, I don't deadlift, and I don't bench. And so how much weaker am I actually going to be? It's not feeling light. And so warming up, the weights are feeling quite heavy. When you go to the gym and you start warming up, you usually can tell what kind of day you're having. And when I started squatting, I was like, I just don't feel strong. And so I train my legs all the time, but due to the principle of specificity, my squats, they're not really that good. To be a good squatter, you have to squat. If all you do is leg press and you try to do 1-rep maxes on squats, you're not going to be as strong as if you properly practice and train for the squat. We'll be looking for proper depth. Is it going to get low enough? Yep. Oh, God.
That felt good, Greg. That felt real good.
That was a very intimidating set. It looked like you could have got 10. So, not happy about that.
I could have got 15. Let's see.
All right, you can judge my depth. First attempt, 315 pounds. I feel like I squatted that to depth. It was a great lift. No problem with 315 pounds. And so Will mentions you squat really slow and then you come up fast. And the reason for that is I'm trying not to get hurt. Although I'm going for 1-rep maxes, I'm still keeping safety in mind. I need to control the weight and make sure that I can get that lift up. Not trying to get hurt. Think of it, 46 years of age. I'm not going to risk injury trying to get the lift up.
Oh, God. Come on. Take breath, let's go. Up. There you go. How'd that feel?
Heavy. I do, in fact, get the weight up. I do think that I went just about deep enough, but it was feeling heavy. Perhaps I could have got 3 reps at this point. Certainly, it was getting close to my 1-rep max. Not much left in the tank for me at this point.
He's expecting I'm going to fail. He's adjusting the safeties. You don't believe in me?
I gotta look out for my son here. We can't have him get injured on camera.
That's offensive.
And so obviously when attempting a 1-rep max or when trying to train close to failure, you want safety bars in place. You don't want to get hurt. Anything can happen. Even if it's not a 1-rep max, you never know what could happen. You lose your balance. And so safety first. Please consider your safety when attempting a 1-rep max. And so you can tell this weight is intimidating to me. 405 pounds, I'm like, maybe I should get you to spot me, but we have the safety rack in place. So if I can't get the weight, I'm just gonna drop the weight onto the safety racks. Not likely to get injured. I'm a trained powerlifter. I've competed in about 70 powerlifting competitions. I know how to perform a 1-rep max.
Oh.
And so in doing this lift, I went as low as I thought I could go and still get the weight up. And so that in fact was not low enough. That would not count in a powerlifting competition. And so my 1-rep max most likely is somewhere between 365 and 405. I'll give it 385. So I predict my true 1-rep max to be around 385 pounds. And so a tip for you, if you're gonna go into a powerlifting competition, when the weight's lighter on your first attempt, go a bit lower. You know you're going to be able to get the weight up. It's not that heavy. It's your first attempt. Go a bit lower. And on each successive attempt, when the weights get heavier and it's harder to squat the weight, go a little bit less deep, and on the last lift, your third attempt, that is when you risk it. Barely go to parallel. Go as low as you can go and still get the weight up, and that way you have the greatest chance of being successful. And so Will Tennyson, 415 pounds, makes it look easy. I personally believe that Will could have squatted closer to 455 pounds, but never needed to. It was a battle of who could lift more, and so with 415, he easily pulls off the win.
Save yourself for the bench. Is that next? What are you going to get? 335 with a pause?
I want to make sure we pause, because when you don't pause the weight on a heavy bench, it's a lot more risk of injury. When you do a pause bench, it's a lot safer, and so you're leaving your ego at the door. And so I predict 335. In my head, I'm thinking, that'll be easy. I'm going to give a low estimation so that I know I can get that much. And in the end, well, let's see just how easy it was. And remember, back in the day, I maxed out 529 pounds with a pause, and I've done this in multiple meets.
You want to put a 35 on now for just a warm-up? I always usually go up by plates, though. I'm thinking if we went up by plate, then there would only be 2 warm-up sets. True. Okay.
And so warming up, I wanted to take my time, make sure that I got a proper warm-up, not trying to max out without properly warming up the chest, not trying to get injured.
The less I squat and the less I bench, the stronger I get at them. I've been doing hack squat, and then I've been doing Smith machine bench, and getting strong at those, and then the carryover to the actual lift is insane.
And so Will says the less squats and benches, and the more assisted lifts he does, the stronger he gets at those lifts. Well, that goes against logical thinking. However, if you're overtraining those lifts, if you're doing the bench and the squats and you're doing too much of it, that can actually make you weaker. And so my advice would be to continue to squat and bench, as the principle of specificity will always apply, but just not to overtrain those lifts.
Let's go. That was way harder than expected. Dude, that's what she said. Oh, geez. It's not so big. That would have been a viral video.
And so Will entered the bench from the behind, always enter the bench from the front. The weights are on the back, and if you enter from the back, your body weight added to the weight of the back can cause the bench to tip up. You can see the front of the legs coming off the ground. Imagine if there had been 400 or 500 pounds on the bar. Going from behind, that is dangerous. Please avoid that when you're bench pressing at home. And so up next, 315 pounds in the bar, and we have safety racks, as when you go in a powerlifting competition going for 1 rep max, there's a chance you could slip the weight or you can't get it, and the last thing you want is for the bar to fall on your neck. I've literally seen people drop bars on their faces in competition, losing teeth. Very, very dangerous, especially if you're doing equipped lifting with the bench press shirt. When you're bench pressing, always have a spotter.
Oh, there you go. I feel like you're hustling me. That looked easy. That looked so hard. No, dude, that felt so hard. I'm like, there's no way I could have got a double.
And so I'm looking at this weight, and I remember how it felt, and that 315 pounds felt very hard. I was literally unsure as to whether I was going to get it. It might have looked fast to other people, but when you're benching with a wide grip, if you don't break the sticking point, it's not going to go up, and it didn't do so by that much. And so I know I am very close to my max at this point. I had predicted I could do 335 pounds, and in my head, I'm already thinking, there's no way I'm getting 335. I don't want to put 335, as I know I'll fail that lift. I've lifted for decades. I know how much weight I can put on a bar and how much weight I can handle. And this was a hard lift. Will thinks I'm pranking him, that I can lift this easy and that I'm going to continue to go up. But trust me, this was a very difficult 1 rep max. And in comparison to my wide grip bench, you can see Will Tennyson using a much closer grip. This is because he has very strong triceps. In comparison, I've literally broken both elbows, had my triceps surgically attached. And so my triceps, they're not as strong as they used to be. Chest, not so bad, but I've lost significant strength in my triceps, especially the left that was only surgically attached in December. And so when I'm lifting, I'm often using 10, 20 pounds more on the left side than the right. I usually use machines. I place more weight on the right than the left because my body just hasn't had the time to catch up yet. And 325, a successful lift, although I'm now tapping out at this point, as I don't think I could even lift 5 more pounds. There's no point in continuing to go for 1 rep maxes if you know you can't get the lift. And so I stop at 325 and say to Will, you may as well go for the win. Why not put on 330 pounds right now? And so my best deadlift, 405 for 50 reps in 51 seconds, but that was ages ago, although I have in fact pulled a 1 rep max of 765 pounds. But how much have I lost since then? After all, I'm not deadlifting. I don't do those lifts anymore. I don't want to get injured. We've all seen Roddy Coleman lift nothing but a peanut lightweight baby. But he's having a hard time as he gets older, and so I had to ask myself, is it worth continually pushing for 1 rep maxes to lift all these heavy weights? Already had hip operations, various surgeries, and so I said I'd rather just focus on bike racing, getting in shape, getting my cardio in, and keeping the muscles at least aesthetic, but not trying to go crazy on the powerlifting lifts.
That feels good.
And so as I said before on the squat, I can tell how I feel when I'm warming up. So when I say 225 feels good, of course it feels good. It's only 225. You're planning to lift 500. But even with a lightweight 225, less than half of my max, I can still tell that this is not going to be bad. I'm very confident at this point I'm going to outlift Will because I've lifted a lightweight and it feels good. When you have enough training, years under your belt, you can tell when you're warming up exactly how your day is going to go.
And since I won again, you're first.
All right, so I've done this for 50 reps in the past, so I'm expecting to be able to do it for 1. I'm just not sure. I haven't done this in a long time.
Yeah, we're hoping. Yeah.
Knees don't fail me now. My vastus medialis, right at the patellar tendon, it hurts. Oftentimes when I'm overtraining, if I ride too many miles on my bike, if I just overshoot a little bit too much and don't give my body enough rest, I can feel knee pain. I have difficulty doing lunges with one leg, and so I have to be careful. And so although 405 for 1 was easy, I'm saying knees don't fail me now because I don't want to experience any injuries.
You got 49 more?
9 more? Probably not 49 more.
Damn.
And so Will's doing conventional versus sumo. I do believe that Will could do better in the sumo if he trained that lift. He squats a lot of weight, and I do feel like the muscles he uses in the squat are similar to the ones he would be using in the sumo deadlift. And if he trains sumo, I think he would eventually become stronger at sumo than conventional. Next lift, 455 pounds. Did that with ease. Very confident at this point that I could lift at least 500 pounds.
475. I'm not feeling good. I think you're gonna get this.
I'm hoping to get it. I need it. I need it desperately.
You're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get this.
And up next, 475 pounds. Actually felt pretty easy at this point. Definitely knew I had more in the tank.
Yep. There you go. You know, I'm gonna go into this confident. I'm gonna get this.
And up next, the last lift of the day, 500 pounds for the win, and I'm able to successfully get this lift, and frankly, it wasn't that hard. I probably could have repped it out for a few more reps, and so I believe my 1 rep max probably closer to 525 pounds. But in comparison, it used to be 765 pounds. I've lost, as expected, the most strength in the bench press, probably due to my elbow injuries where I've reattached the triceps. I'm at 61% of the strength I used to have. The squat, not so bad, 65% of what I used to lift. If I continue to focus on the squats, I'm sure I could get those up. In the deadlift, I'm lifting close to 70% of what I used to lift, despite the fact that I'm not training it anymore. And I do believe that a lot of the strength that I've lost, it's because I'm not specifically training for these lifts. I feel if I were to train specifically for the squat, the bench, and the deadlift, I could lift about 80% of the weights that I used to lift while on HRT and after 4 or 5 years have passed. I'm perfectly happy with what I lift now. I'm happy with what I was able to accomplish in the past. My focus now has moved on to cardiovascular activities, enjoying cycling, racing. It's fun for me. I still like lifting weights, getting the pump going, and doing my full body workouts 3 days a week. And if you'd like a free training program close to 20 pages, please click the link in the description to become a newsletter subscriber. Also, I have the cookbooks, Circle Diet book, training books, supplements of so many kinds, protein powders, creatine, Turk Builder, the list goes on and on. Click the link in the description. Watch one of these 2 videos, subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Also, looking for coaching plans, go to gregdoucette.com for coaching, Greg Doucette IB Pro on Instagram. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Don't forget to watch the bloops, and until next time, I'm out.